Well, in Iowa, you got to use rifled slugs, shotgun, and predominantly everybody hunts with the stand and drive method where you have blockers and you have a few guys walk on through and try and drive the deer on towards the guys that are standing. Second or third year that I'd hunted, I was on the stand and this buck came down through the draw and I was up on top of the hill there and I couldn't really believe what I'd seen. It was a big deer, a real big deer, real big rack, and he had something in his rack. Whether it was cloth of some sort, I have no idea what it was exactly. But he stopped right in front of me, and I pulled up the old shotgun and shot, and it went right over the top of his shoulder. I saw the slug hit right in the bank on the other side, and by the time I got calmed down enough to shoot again, he took off on down the trail, and nobody really believed that he had a rag in his rack, and they never saw him. So I guess it was just pretty much my word for it. It was in 1973, the opening day of deer season, and we'd made one or two drives, and we went over to this other area where I'd seen this buck the year before, and another guy had actually saw him first and shot at him and hit him in the back leg. Nothing serious or nothing life-threatening to the deer, but he'd been wounded. And so when we come up over this little rise and looked across, and it was about 70, 75 yards away, there was a buck standing there, and I couldn't really tell what he had for a rack or anything, that because he had his head down behind what looked like kind of a gooseberry bush or a little scrub brush there. And so I took and shot. I knew it was a buck, and I shot and dropped him and went over there, and that was the one that had been shot before, and just couldn't believe the rack on him. I had never seen anything like it, and quite a few of the guys in our group had never seen a rack quite like that. And they were kind of kidding me and everything that, oh, he's going to be so darn tough, you won't ever be able to eat him and so forth. And I didn't care. I was just going to get it mounted. Just have a nice buck hanging on the wall. A few guys in the group and another friend of mine told me, hey, you should enter it in this Boone and Crockett. So we took it over to a guy that officially measured racks, and he measured it in 282 and couldn't believe it that I'd missed number one by 4 points. And he was kind of confused a little bit as to how to score it at the time, whether to try and score it as a typical or as a non-typical, because everything on it is pretty symmetrical except for the drop points or drop tines. One of the brow tines there, evidently when he was in the rut or making some rubs, he evidently broke off, or he might have been fighting with another buck, but he broke off one of the brow tines. If it measured the same as the one on the other side, would have been about 6 inches. And that would have put it as number one in the nation for Boone and Crockett. But as it is, with that one missing, it was scored at 282. He was a buck of a lifetime, and I was fortunate enough to be able to bag him, and I don't think I'll ever personally get another buck like that.